unbelievable. Fellow sailor was held at gunpoint and hit over the back of the head with the gun butt and forced to lie face down in the boat while some fishermen looked for drugs. This all happened literally under our noses. Rachel and I were on another boat right next door to it in this busy anchorage. Crazy, just crazy.
Ilha dos Lençois, where the rainforest meets the desert, a remote sandy oasis on the north coast of Brazil. Life here moves slowly, the estuary is calm, and the dunes shift with the wind. When we were in Ilha, we thought the sand there was bad coming off the dunes, but obviously the dunes here are bigger. We've had to close the windows in the saloon because it's getting into all the ports of the computers. Rob on the South African boat said, hey, let's have a sand building competition. Biggest sand castle made from the sand on your boat. I think we might win. The locals and a small group of cruising yachties anchored alongside us have made us feel completely at home. Our days here have settled into a quiet rhythm. Boat work, clearing the constant drift of sand from the decks, filling our tanks from the local well, and evenings shared at a rustic little bar that springs to life in someone's backyard.
I'm going for a run and the boys are coming to join me. Yeah.
But even in the most peaceful anchorages, the reality of remote cruising can change in a heartbeat. This morning, a fellow sailor anchored nearby was assaulted at gunpoint on his boat, and the crazy thing is, we were all around but saw nothing. It is a stark reminder that even in paradise, we're still far from the beaten path and far from help. In this episode, we share the beauty of Lençois, the warmth of its people, and the unsettling truth of what happens when sailing remote Brazil takes an unexpected turn.
Well, that was interesting. You know, we've been told Brazil's in some places is not terribly safe. We've had no problems. We've been cautious where we've needed to be cautious. But we've probably let our guard down a little bit here because in this anchorage we've got lots of boats with us and the village is lovely. People are wonderful. I feel very, very safe here. However, we've just heard from a fellow sailor who was held at gunpoint and in fact had his head hit over, he was hit over the back of the head with the gun butt of the handle and forced to lie down, face down in the boat while some fishermen looked for drugs aboard the boat.
Unfortunately, the north coast of Brazil is known for drug smuggling. They come up from Bolivia, Peru, Colombia, through the Amazonian rivers and then out to take their cargo elsewhere.
Rachel and I were on another boat right next door to it and I roared back to our boat to get some medicine for our friend, and while I was roaring back, this fishing boat was actually on its way, had just departed from its gunslinging moment. I had no idea and I roared past going, hello, hello, and they all waved back at me and it was all happy days. Well, little did I know until I got back to the boat, I hear this news that this fishing boat's just attacked our neighbours. I mean, it's unbelievable.
A couple of days ago, a drug boat did wash up or ran aground near here, and we think these guys in the fishing boat mistook that boat for the one that ran aground that we told you about a couple of weeks ago. Not the same boat. That boat is in the anchorage, mistaken identity, and we're also 100% sure that the fishermen were not from Lençois.
He also thought actually that the boat may have been stolen because when they came up alongside, the guys had no idea how to tie off onto the bollard, onto the cleat, and they looked very, very ineffective and inefficient. But they were just saying, drugs, 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 drugs. That's all they wanted. Cocaine. I asked, God, you must have been scared. He said, no, not really. So, okay, good on you. We lived to tell the tale. So did.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
We have loved our time in Lençois and this isn't going to change that. It's shaken people up a little bit, but this is such a sleepy little hollow normally. There is no police force here. So the boat went out, the only exit it can go out, the way it came in. Unfortunately, there's no one to follow it out there. We will take away from Lençois the beauty, not this incident. We have a water shortage and yet you are washing your clothes. What do you have to say about that?
I'm not using fresh water, I'm using salt water to wash them, and then I'm gonna rinse them in fresh.
That water behind you doesn't look the clearest of the clear. Do you think that will clean your clothes?
Cleaner than they were before.
Yeah.
Water maker broke down 3 or 4 days ago. The very next day we ran out of water. We borrowed jerry cans off a couple of the boats to just make the loads less frequent. Now some of you may be watching saying, these guys are going to get sick on this stuff. And I know when we took water from Pemba, you may recall,
Oh, it's lovely.
there were some people commenting that that's really not a good call. We're taking a big chance there. Well, we were fine. The alternative is if we don't get water, we're going to die in 3 days' time. So, you know, I reckon it's worth a crack. No chlorine, no fluoride, no anything, no hormones. This has been filtered through these massive sand dunes over a period of time. Why not? The cool thing about having sons is that they can be your workers. Having said that, I've earned this break, I've earned this rest. They're still up at the well. I've brought back 20 litres. They can do 2 runs each. I did my 1 run this time and I'm having a snooze. Oh, sons, eh? The first 100 litres we put in, the water tank was not loaded up. The water pump would not load any water in. We put a second 100 litres, so 200 litres in, waited for it to cross over a period of time, put the water pump on, and it took a while, but it did actually kick in after a while. So that's good news. The not so good news is there's something not right with that system. It's like there's still a congestion between the 2 water tanks, or there's a congestion point between the tank that feeds the water pump and the water pump itself. Something might be inhibiting it. Might be a growth, who knows, but it might require further investigation of a more significant type. Don't know, but at the moment we've got it recharged. It's good news, but we now want to go and get more water. Nice.
When we arrived in Brazil, on the journey over, I was absolutely convinced that we would be dancing in the streets, doing samba or something every night, or at least once. And here we are, about to leave Brazil, and we haven't danced once. So I thought, hey, maybe there's someone in the village who could teach us how to dance. So we asked, and nope. But they don't do samba here, they dance reggae, they call it, and they put a TV on and showed us what reggae looks like. It's a very close dance for couples. So Rob and I gave it a go. No instruction at all, and yet we nailed it, absolutely nailed it. Of course, we weren't listening to the music that was being played. Rob and myself were both listening to different beats, it would seem. But there you go. I have danced in Brazil. Mission accomplished. Tick. Let's get going.
Hello everybody! Good morning, Brazil! Here's a natural. So yesterday Nick raised an interesting prospect that maybe we could leave the island from the north side or the west side of the island rather than go back out the entrance, which is going to be 10 miles of bashing into wind and current. Yesterday we went through a potential track to get over that side, so now we're going to confirm whether we can go through that track or not. The main thing I want to measure is the exit at the other side. It's full moon tonight, I think, so the tides are really high. If we can time the high tide to exit, then I think we'll be fine. But we need to make sure we can get through this narrow estuary to that spot. We're going to track it on our chart, on our navionics. We'll see how we go.
Okay, 3 meters.
3 meters plus.
Okay, and it's not high tide yet, huh?
No. No, that's good. The actual tide is about 5 meters, so it's quite high. Quite
Okay,
a bit, quite a
and
big
at what
tide.
time is the high tide?
I think in about an hour.
Well, no, it's 4 p.m.
Yeah,
so
I think it's about 5:30. So yeah.
5:30, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
How far we travelled so far, Nick?
9 miles.
9 miles. So we're travelling 9 miles. Oh, you should have filmed the other bar. Actually, we went out to the first exit area, potential. It's very rough, a lot of small crumblers. I actually think we can get out there, but I reckon there's a bit of a flatter part, which is obviously a bit deeper. But we'll go and check out the other exit, which is more likely to be safer. This is so freaking beautiful. There's little veins shooting off up into the mangroves I'd love to dart up into. We haven't got enough time for that. It's close to full tide now, and that guy's just putting down his net. I guess he'll pick it up at low tide. The question is, can we go out through here? I'm absolutely sure we can. And we just went through these sticks. It's a lot calmer, this area. There's no breaking waves out there at all. But this show is about 3 meters deep here, and we've got probably another ½ meter of depth of water at the high tide. So there's plenty of water, and it's like this the whole way across. It'd be much nicer to exit than what we were looking at initially.
Yeah, I think same as you. Sorry guys for my English, I'm French. There's a lot of water, a lot of stick also, but if we go a little bit in the middle of the channel, I think it will be perfect.
Yeah.
And as you said, there's no swell we can see, so...
I think it's spot on, man.
Possible, ça ici. Bon ou pas bon?
Minha brava está isso aí.
Okay, good, okay. The fishermen haven't been terribly happy with us being here. This guy's happy that we're leaving. He's put his net down straight away, but I've actually had to ask him to stop for a moment. I gave a signal and because he was about to cover our exit. So he's just holding off for us there now, which is great. And then he can carry on. So yesterday afternoon for the high tide, Nick and I and his son Leonard went up in the tender all the way up the estuary, and we had to pick which one to go through. It's pretty obvious, but we really just wanted to check whether we could get up there safely, and in particular the exit out and checking the depth there, and it all mapped out pretty well. We want to be doing the exit around the very high tide though when we go out over the bar. I must say yesterday, and again I'm sure it's going to be the same today, when we were going through it just felt like we were in the middle of the Amazon. Lots of the red ibis, but lots of other white herons. You could hear the tropical Amazonian sounds coming from the mangroves. Now the mangroves, it's not normal forest, these are mangrove trees. They're massive, incredible. You look at the root systems in them too, it's really, really amazing. Oh, back to point 8. At point 8 we should be touching, so I think we were just skimming along the mud just back there, but it's all good now. Oh, it's back to, oh no, it's going back to 1.7, 2.2, 2.5. I think it might be part of the dirty water actually. It's maybe having difficulty measuring, because it's crazy. It's going 1.5, 2.5, 1.5 now.
I even found this on the sand dune the other day. The ibis have become my favourite bird because they're just so red and they stand out like nobody's business against the background. I love them. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of them up here. Reported like little flocks of 20 or more.
To try and deal with the starboard tack issue we have where Bob can't handle it, did a standard Dock Wizard recalibration, then did a circle, a couple of 360s, and help it recalibrate the system. I mean, I'm not feeling terribly optimistic on that, but let's see if that does help somewhere in some way.
I think I'm looking forward to at least if that hasn't worked, but we're going to break up the journey. We were going to head straight to French Guiana, or Guyane as it's apparently called by the French, and that's a 5 or 6 day journey, but now we're thinking, okay, we'll stop in Belém. We need fruit and vegetables, reassess, see if there's anything else we can change about the system if it's not working, and go from there. I kind of think as we're in this area, why not go and see that part of the world? I don't know when we'll ever be this way again.
The rest are not though, Rachel. Go.
No, we're the only ones. We're the only ones going to go to Belém, mainly because getting up there's okay, but getting back out and back into the Atlantic can be a bit challenging. That's why I would really like the water helm to be working, and maybe if it is working we won't stop there, we'll just slide on by. But I told my mother we wouldn't go up the Amazon because she's really scared. So sorry, Mum. It's the Amazon Delta. I can't remember the name of the river. Put it down there.
So we've just identified a little tear up in the Genoa. It's quite bad, and if we don't do anything with it now, because we're going to get 20 knot plus winds on it, apparent wind, so it's just going to tear across.
We do have a spare.
We do have a spare. We might throw that up for this trip, get this thing repaired before we get to west. Okay, should we try now, mate? Oh god, no, too much wind. The wind is going to drop out at some point. When the wind drops out, we'll just drop it, okay? Oh.
We had lifted anchor as the tide began to rise, threaded our way down the river, slipping past the mangroves and the fishermen, where 2 hours later, on the peak of the spring tide, we cleared the river mouth and said our final goodbyes to this beautiful remote island.
This is where it gets a little tricky coming out here, being the tide lines, and we've got 2 metres under the keel. We need to move the cost a little bit. 3 metres.
So what's happening?
3. So Declan's got the backup Genoa.
Lençois reminds us that even the sleepiest, most peaceful places can hold unexpected danger. And when cruising Brazil's north coast, especially as we move towards the Amazon Delta, staying alert is as essential as wind and water. Look at that hazard.
That's where I got hit by the rope there.
Oh, you're a man.
Yeah.
To our patrons, thank you. Your support keeps this boat moving, keeps us creating, and allows us to share both the beauty and the reality of life at sea. We truly couldn't do this without you. See you next week. The motor sail down the river was lovely, and a very gentle opening out into getting out into the Atlantic again, which beats going the other way, which wouldn't have been gentle. But now that we're out on the we're on a starboard tack and nothing has improved, so a little bit of recalculation or whatever, recalibration that Rob and Wolf did together hasn't worked, which is unfortunate, but nobody's fault. So it looks like we might be going to Bellum because we are having to hand steer and it ain't much fun as always. Although we've actually got very good conditions.
Yeah.
Which is why it's really disappointing that it hasn't.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Won't hold. It just won't hold. So
crazy.
So that's why my eyes are focused on trying to stay within 10 degrees.
Oh, you're doing pretty well. Look at this little guy. I heard a knock at the side and I looked out on the deck and here's this little bird. Little bird. Oh gosh. Oh, sorry.
Why'd you let go? Did you let go or did it fly out of your hand?
It fly out of my hands. Little fella. You all right?
Don't let it get in my. Sorry, I'm trying to cook as well.
Yeah. Here we go. Poor fella. I think he has a bit of a shock.
Yeah, we'll probably get him out of here because
he's gonna poop
everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Where's he going? Put him outside. Put him in the cockpit.
Yeah.